Good evening. So finally, we'll be able to do with this episode regarding the Pope event that happened in 2015. The recent attempt that I made was not successful for whatever reason. I guess it's mostly technical, but it should work this time. It should. So I'm going to talk about how the experiences during the Pope event in 2015 can be utilized to have a fast deployment of distance learning initiatives of the government. I'd like to thank my sponsors first. Ryu Ramen, you can order, you can drop by their store in Makati. Naughty Cafe, the best milk tea in town and in the country, the fastest growing milk tea franchise in the Philippines. Pan Pacific Airlines, fly in style. You want to go to Korea? You may not have heard of Pan Pacific Airlines. You just look them up on the internet and you will get the best deal for the best value. So, the event itself, it was from January 15 to 19. Although the event itself is just a day, but we had less than 2 months of preparation. The main contract is under Stagecraft International, and they engaged our services, then was known as HDSD, which is my company, to provide the audio video delivery for all the large format LED wall that would be deployed from Quirino Grandstand throughout Luneta. So that's about a 1.5 kilometer stretch from Quirino Grandstand. So if my memory serves me right, they would be deploying around 12 LED walls for the people who are expected to congregate in Quirino Grandstand and in Luneta. So my team, which is HDSD, partnered with DX Antenna Philippines and Village Island for the total solution to achieve the objective of wireless audio video delivery. So the general concept is to deploy two antenna type. One is vertically polarized and one is horizontally polarized. The audio video feed will be coming from Stagecraft International labeled in red, and the blue ones are the solutions provided by my team, and then the green would be the LED walls provided by a third-party contractor of Stagecraft International. The beauty of wireless system is that we don't really care about the number of displays or LED walls that you'll be deploying. Our concern is just to ensure that sufficient signal is being distributed in the desired area so that if you wanted to increase the number of monitors, it wouldn't matter. Unlike with conventional direct wired connection, it poses several risks. So the risk of tripping and the risk of not being able to terminate or to make the proper connection to allow an additional uh, display to be enabled. So HDSD is a company that did the design and the overall concept of the wireless system for deployment. DX Antenna Philippines provided the transmitting and the receiving antenna, including the RF amplifier and the head end fiber optic system. Village Island provided the engine for the real time encoding and multiplexing. So, with the three companies working together, we were able to achieve something that would really be a big challenge for other companies. So we thank Stagecraft International for tapping our technical services to deliver the desired result. So this is the area. So if you can see, this is Quirino Grandstand, and then this would be Taft Avenue. Okay, so this part is Ross Boulevard. So this would be the open area in Quirino Grandstand, and this would be part of Luneta. So we deployed at least 12 large format LED walls. So the reception is mainly wireless, so it provided additional safety for the people participating in the event. So no risk of tripping or creating undue bodily harm to the participants because of improper cable layout. And the total solution we provided, imagine from Quirino Grandstand up to Taft Avenue, the total system is less than 7 million, but it was transmitting in full digital, including the receivers, including the encoding and multiplexing. So this was all delivered in less than 2 months. So it was up and running for the event itself. No hitch, no problem. It was a seamless operation. So if we switch to distance learning, we just magnify the required number of equipment. So the red, as previously shown, represents the audio video source from Stagecraft International. In this case, if we are to utilize the system, the same concept for distance learning, we can safely say that the red ones represents the input coming from DepEd or Commission on Higher Education. The blue ones would be the solution provided by HDSD, DX Antenna, and Village Island, which means encoding any 8 concurrent uh, educational program that would be transmitted in a desired area. Now, of course, in the Pope event, we were only talking about a 1.5 kilometer radius coverage, which is around 90 milliwatts. It's not even 90 milliwatts. Anyway, it's not even 1 watt. So to give you an idea. So for large scale deployment for distance learning, we would need at least 2.5 kilowatts to command a good uh, coverage area. I'd like to welcome our guest, engineer Christopher Gerald Sim, an expert in programming, mapping, LiDAR. So, welcome, Engineer Sim.
Good evening, and thank you for inviting me for this session.
Okay, please feel free to bump in if you have any ideas or comments on the system. Okay,
Sure,
for
sure.
distance learning, so the idea is to provide a large footprint. So in this simulation I did, so to cover around 25 million of the people, I'm just talking of southern to central Luzon here. You only need around 5 transmitters to effectively cover this
Right.
area. And the total cost per region is around 40 million. So if we're talking of five transmitting stations to cover 25 million people from southern Luzon up to Dagupan, Pangasinan. I guess it's safe to say that the cost would be around 120 million. Still cheaper than opting for an IP solution, because in IP solution, um, you need connectivity, and in each connection you need to allocate a certain bandwidth. So imagine for 25 million accessing through internet a certain content, the bandwidth requirement is quite substantial, and it's expensive because there's a monthly recurring cost. Unlike in broadcast, once you deploy the system, it doesn't really care about the number of receivers tuning in. It can be 1 million, it can be 25 million, it can be 100 million. It doesn't matter because it's broadcast, so it's point to multi point, and there is no monthly recurring cost.
Well, another consideration would be bandwidth. As for broadcast, we could easily deliver the content uh, through higher bandwidth as compared with a fixed line or IP solution. That would
Mm.
probably take more if
Yeah,
we
for
consider the cost.
IP solution, you are expected to pay like for a daily connectivity cost or a weekly or a
Yeah, yeah,
monthly
yeah,
cost, right? So if
yeah,
we assume that each person out of the 25 million targeted from southern Luzon up to Dagupan, Pangasinan, let's assume that each person would spend 100 pesos for connectivity. So 100 pesos times 25 million, that would be your recurring cost using IP-based solution to deploy distance learning. Unlike in broadcast,
yeah.
the cost is
That's
just one
why,
time,
uh,
diba? And then you can extend even for a year the program. You just pay for your electricity, and then that's it.
yeah, that's the thing with broadcast. It would provide a better solution rather than pushing through with the IP uh, if what we're targeting is to deliver the content over the air. It would be the best solution, I think.
Hmm. Yeah.
Uh,
Well, broadcasting has been always the cheaper alternative in accessing multimedia content. We can safely say that IP-based solution that requires internet connectivity can be classified as premium access to certain contents on demand. That would be the distinction.
yeah. Another thing would be we would be get you would be getting better a more reliable connection rather than with the IP based solution.
That's the beauty of broadcasting. Once you have established a certain connection, you maintain that link and you get a certain level of quality of audio and video. It doesn't it is not dependent on the bandwidth allocated by the telecommunications company. Everybody enjoys the same level of experience provided that you satisfy the reception requirement. I have some videos here related to the Pope event. So please allow me to show them. This is my team. So this is me, obviously. So I'm the overall in charge of the event. And then I have Mr. Michael Van Dorp, the president of Village Island, who flew in from Tokyo to assist. And then we have Mr. Eiichi Omura, which is the general manager of DX Antenna Philippines. We have here Jason Lama, my head sales of engineering, and then Mr. Queen Hing Aldrich, who's in charge of Village Island. And then engineer Cecil Bautista, who's in charge of DX antenna marketing. Then we have the rest of the team. Mark Capistrano. We have three Mark here. Okay. And then Mark Leo Victorio. We also have Mark Zaidi Serdon, a proud dad recently. And we have our silencer, Engineer Horna. Uh, Step Santos, Trisha Manuel, Kevin Pakis, James Mendoza, Engineer Achilles Dena, now as the President and CEO of 90 Degrees North, together with her former girlfriend, Miss Junko Aguilar. I made sure I mentioned former, and Miss Shen Roldan. Mr. Alexander Duque, no relationship with Secretary Duque, our head of transportation logistics, Arlan Sevilla. So this is my team at that time. Unfortunately, Engineer Sim was not there. Uh, we had a close engagement afterward. This video shows the briefing. It's the pre-event briefing organized by the Catholic Bishops Conference of the Philippines. So the HDSD team was present to provide inputs on what needs to be taken care of in preparation for the event. And as a group of engineers from Mapua and Adamson University, we made sure that everything is covered. So not just about the concern about the audio video delivery, but also security. So the beauty of the team of HDSD is that we're all electronics and communications engineer. So we're not just thinking of the concerns for wireless audio video, but also other users of RF. So security such as people who might maliciously use wireless transmission to create chaos or to disrupt the events. So we were the ones who recommended to have a total jamming of the use of cellular frequencies, but not because it's our exclusive idea, but for sure the security forces from the government have thought about it also. But we found among ourselves that we should remind the organizers about the risk of the proliferation of people using their mobile phones, 'di ba? Because some people who had ill intent might use it, 'di ba? So we apologize to the people who felt inconvenience for not being able to use their mobile phones during the event itself. So this is the picture of the whole team. So most people found it very easy, but actually the people behind who did the works. So we even had our final briefing at the night to remind each and everyone the roles and responsibilities. And most of us barely had enough sleep. This is an opportunity for me to take a photo with Miss Anna Corred of CNN. I mean, I've seen her on TV several times, so when I saw her, I should take a picture with her. It's an opportunity. So we all slept in tents. I think I had 2 hours of sleep uh, in this event. Yeah. So we climbed on the roof of Quirino Grandstand to install the transmitting antenna that would cover up to Taft Avenue. So the images here shows the equipment. This is the DX antenna fiber optic system that connects the control system from the multiplexer in Kino Grandstand going towards the antenna system. And we continuously monitor the airwaves. So we utilize two spectrum analyzers. Our people also in the process of installing receivers, the wireless receivers, which is what we call now a set-top box or digital receivers, needs to be installed on an elevated area. So we put an antenna and then the setup box, and then the output would be fed to the LED wall as shown on the screen. So the objective is simply like a digital TV transmission approach, but we were operating at very low power, 90 milliwatts. Of course, after the work, we all have to eat, and replenish our energy. This is the day itself. So we waited for the convoy of the Pope. So we walked around 600 meters from Quirino Grandstand up to an area of Ross Boulevard just to witness, and then we have to redeploy our people again to their respective stations. So those people in blue with the logo on the chest, those are my team. It's quite unfortunate that it rained hard from the morning of that day. And it was so cold. I never imagined that the Philippines can be that cold. The feeling of like a 10-degree temperature and then it's raining. I don't know why it happened, but that's how we felt during the event itself. So most of us are chilling, especially me. So the Pope did the Mass. In fact, the Pope was so happy that he did, I think, two or three passes in our area. So this is the Pope Mobile or Mobile. So we were just a few meters from him. So most of our personnel were given the privilege to get closer and then just leave the equipment because when it's operating, you're not supposed to touch anything, di ba, CJ? If it's
Yeah, yeah,
working
yeah.
fine, don't touch it.
Don't touch anything. It would be
Yeah,
harder
yeah.
to troubleshoot that one while it's in operations.
So the Pope went three times in front of us. So imagine, look at the picture. The Pope was so close to our personnel. I stayed in the control area, so at least someone would be left there to ensure everything is working fine. So I increased the speed. I used the snapshots na lang, not the actual video. This is in the morning time, huh? So you notice it's dark, but it's actually during the daytime. So this is after the event. The person in the center is actually a priest, and then this is the stagecraft person. The white stand with the microphone is actually the mic used by the Pope. So after the event, Stagecraft International secured the microphone immediately and was transferred to our team. So most of us took turns in having a photo for the mic used by the Pope himself. Eventually, this was turned over to Stagecraft International for preservation. Now, in that event, something happened. One the member of our team decided to bring the girl that he is courting. Ayan, yan nasa picture. 'Di ba? What better way to impress the girl you love than to bring her to a Pope event that you are actually part of the team, the engineering team. And this is where she said yes, and eventually they got married. So naging ninong ako at saka si Michael Vandor. So it was a beautiful event, di ba? But it's not only them who developed such relationship because of the event. Uh, Engineer Capistrano recently got married also, is part of the team. And Mr. Zaidi Sardon had her baby recently. So the team itself had a lot of good memories from the event itself, and we still keep in touch with one another. I'd like to promote the ECE program of Adamson University. So they have made strides to strengthen the program and to maintain the tuition fee so that people who wants to enter the electronics engineering program, Adamson University would be the one to provide you with the most affordable tuition fee for the quality education that you would get. I myself is an alumni of Adamson University, and I had my master's degree in Mapua University. So if you want to learn about digital broadcasting, not just the typical instruction, but more, and to have an expertise in digital TV broadcasting, enroll in Adamson University, and then let's see each other there. So, yun. So thank you very much for tuning in. And thank you to Naughty Cafe, Ryu Ramen, and Pan Pacific Airlines for supporting this live stream. Any last word, Engineer Sim?
Uh, I think it's a good. It was a good session for us and all the audience, so that they could learn more about uh, what possible applications we could use digital broadcasting for. Uh,
Hmm.
so I hope more people get enlightened with this, and hopefully we could actually use this on a the students could actually use this technology.
We do hope, right, that
Yeah, we do
government
hope.
and other education institution would capitalize on the opportunity of technology to provide distance learning. So, thank you very much for listening, guys. And do click subscribe and the notification bell for future episodes. Thank you very much.